This is question from Art and Culture in 2020 UPSC mains examination. This is 15 marker questions. You can see the first question is about Indian philosophy and traditions, how it played to shape the monuments and Indian art. So friends, here you have to write a lot of things, especially when it comes to art and culture. You have to write about the architecture part, you have to write about the dances, you have to write about the music, you have to write about the literature. So all these things, how Indian philosophy has and in Indian philosophy also again, this is a very subjective question and you can write a lot about this one, but here presentation is extremely important. So you start with the Indian philosophy, how the Brahmanical and non-Brahmanical. In non-Brahmanical you can write about the Buddhism, then Jainism and all. And on the major part, you can start with the introduction. Hello. You can, it's a very common introduction you can have, like art and the Indian philosophy has been extremely intrinsic to our philosophy and religion. This has been persistent since last 5,000 years, and you can start with, and there are many more major broader spectrums. Here the key things is that you have to give many examples. This is how you will be different from other answers. In UPSC you have to always write little different answers so that you will be you will get higher marks. It's all, the exam is much relative. So in this type of answer, here you will write about the architecture. You will start with the rock cut architecture, then temple architecture, cave architecture, stupa and all. So try to cover as many dimensions possible. In this kind of questions, friends, you have to be extremely, one thing that because you know a lot of things, but the time and space is extremely valuable. So you have to be extremely systematic on that, and please give examples. Literature part, you can write about starting from Vedas and all. Then dance forms you can write, or the dance forms or the sculpture parts. It goes back to the Harappan era to recent times. You can just go through the history, and then how during the Indo-Islamic period, Sufism and Bhakti movement. So you just mention examples from everywhere and make it extremely systematic. In this type of questions, friend, everyone scores are almost same kind of marks. Just try to get 1-2 marks extra from others. The second question is Persian literary sources of medieval India reflect the spirit of the age. Comment. This is a bit difficult question, and here most of the people they will fumble. So how and here you have to take advantage of others, especially Persian literary sources. What are the Persian literary, especially during the Indo-Islamic age? Please write about that. Spirit of the age, like how it showed the art and culture, how it showed the different kind of history. Like I told about, in history there are 3 prominent areas you have to write about: the political history, the economic history, the cultural history, and the fourth one is the sociological history. So write on these 4 dimensions and you will get much better marks than others. Like political history, how it talks about statehood, how it talks about the Persian, how it talks about the Mughals and Sultanate system, who all were prominent Persian literates. Please write about them. During Mansabi was a very prominent style during Babur. Then during Mughal era, they always wrote about the autobiography. They hired the biographers, and like for Akbar, for Jahangir, Akbarnama was written, Jahangirnama was written. During Sultanate period also, there were many Firdos and Firdausi, and there are so many Baroni and other writers. So write about this. So in this segment you have to write about the prominent examples. You have to write about the famous authors, especially during the Persian writers. You have to mention about them, Abul Fazl and all. And you have to write about how they reflect. They talks about the history, various parts of the history, sociological history, like how they describe the history, Indian society, caste systems and all, the role of women and all, economic history, how they write about the economic history. And here you write about the Persian sources, and along with that you write about the Deccan. In Deccan also, especially in the Bahmani period and all, they also wrote many. They also wrote Persian this one, and for Vijayanagara Empire also many Persian writers they came. So please give a broad Indian framework. You can make any kind of diagrams and all, or you can make a flow chart, especially timelines and all. And you have to mention, you have to give solid examples. This is how you can score much better than others.